Italy. A country that echoes with the footsteps of emperors, philosophers, artists, and revolutionaries. From the mighty Roman Empire that shaped Western civilization to the birthplace of the Renaissance that redefined human potential, Italy has been a cultural and historical powerhouse for millennia. But beyond the ruins and romance, Italy is also a modern nation with economic complexities, political turbulence, and a deep influence on global industries like fashion, food, design, and tourism. In today's episode of Ms. Shortcut, we'll explore Italy's grand narrative, from ancient glories and medieval brilliance to its 20th century struggles and modern triumphs. Get ready for a fast-paced journey through the boot-shaped beauty of the Mediterranean. The Roman Empire, foundation of the West. Italy's global legacy begins with Rome. Founded in 753 BCE, the Roman kingdom evolved into a republic and then the all-powerful Roman Empire by 27 BCE under Augustus. Rome brought law, engineering, military tactics, roads, and republican governance to an enormous territory that stretched from Britain to Mesopotamia. Latin, the root of modern Romance languages, and Roman legal systems laid the foundation for Western civilization. But the Roman Empire was more than just power, it was also plagued by overexpansion, corruption, and internal decay. By 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire collapsed, and Italy entered a long period of fragmentation. Still, the grandeur of Rome would remain embedded in European identity, influencing architecture, politics, and ideals of empire for centuries. Medieval Italy and Renaissance brilliance. After Rome's fall, Italy fractured into city-states and kingdoms. The Papal States, the Kingdom of Naples, Venice, Milan, and Florence were often in competition, sometimes violently. Yet this chaos birthed brilliance. The Renaissance, beginning in 14th century Florence, marked a cultural explosion. Thinkers like Dante, Petrarch, and Machiavelli redefined literature and politics. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael transformed painting and sculpture. Galileo pushed the boundaries of science. Banking families like the Medici sponsored art and knowledge that reshaped Europe. Italy, though not politically united, was intellectually and culturally dominant. The Renaissance wasn't just a rebirth of classical knowledge, it was a redefinition of what it meant to be human. This Italian-led movement helped pull Europe out of the medieval era and into modernity. Unification and 19th century Italy. Despite its cultural unity, Italy remained divided until the 19th century. Inspired by the Enlightenment and nationalist movements across Europe, Italians began a series of uprisings and wars to unify their fragmented lands. This period, known as the Risorgimento, featured iconic figures like Giuseppe Garibaldi, Count Cavour, and Victor Emmanuel II. By 1861, Italy declared itself a unified kingdom, though Rome wouldn't join until 1870. Unification wasn't smooth. Economic inequality between the industrial North and agrarian South was stark, a problem that continues today. The new nation struggled to modernize, industrialize, and build national identity after centuries of division. Still, Italy's unification was a major achievement, transforming a patchwork of duchies and republics into a single state ready to face the 20th century. Fascism, Mussolini and World War II. Italy's early 20th century was marred by instability, poverty, and disappointment after World War I. Enter Benito Mussolini. In 1922, Mussolini and his fascist party rose to power, promising national strength, order, and glory. Fascism, authoritarian, militaristic, and anti-democratic, took hold, with Mussolini dreaming of reviving the Roman Empire. Allied with Hitler's Nazi Germany, Italy entered World War II on the Axis side. But military failures and internal resistance grew. In 1943, Mussolini was deposed, and Italy switched sides to the Allies. A civil war and German occupation followed until Italy was liberated in 1945. The war left Italy devastated, its economy in ruins, its politics unstable. But out of the ashes came a new democratic republic, established in 1946 after a referendum abolished the monarchy. Italy began rebuilding, this time with democracy as its foundation. Post-war recovery and the economic miracle. After World War II, Italy faced immense challenges: poverty, destroyed infrastructure, and political division. But with aid from the U.S. Marshall Plan and smart industrial policies, Italy rapidly recovered. From the 1950s to the early 1970s, Italy experienced the miracolo economico, the economic miracle. Factories sprung up, especially in the north. Fiat cars, Olivetti typewriters, and iconic fashion brands helped build a modern consumer economy. Millions of Italians moved from rural south to industrial cities like Milan and Turin. Exports boomed, and Italy joined the European Economic Community, the precursor to the EU. By the 1970s, Italy was one of the world's leading economies. Yet problems lurked: organized crime in the south, bureaucratic inefficiency, and political instability. Still, the post-war period remains a remarkable example of recovery and transformation. Italy in the European Union. Italy was a founding member of the European Union, deeply committed to the idea of European integration. The EU offered Italy economic security, access to markets, and a shared currency, the euro, which it adopted in 1999. Yet the euro came with challenges. Italy's economy, burdened by debt and low productivity growth, struggled to remain competitive in a currency union dominated by Germany's economic model. Italy has one of the highest public debt levels in the EU, hovering around 140% of GDP. Despite the economic difficulties, Italy remains influential within the EU. It's the third largest economy in the eurozone, a leader in agriculture, design, and manufacturing, and a key player in European diplomacy. But the tension between EU rules and Italy's domestic challenges, like unemployment and a slow-growing economy, continues to fuel populist and anti-EU movements. Modern economy, challenges and strengths. Italy's economy is a mix of brilliance and burden. The north is highly industrialized, home to global companies in automotive, fashion, design, and machinery. The south, by contrast, faces chronic unemployment, weaker infrastructure, and the ongoing presence of mafia networks like the Camorra and 'Ndrangheta. Italy's strengths lie in small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, often family-owned and highly specialized. These firms dominate fields like luxury textiles, food products, and high-end furniture. Tourism is another pillar. Italy is one of the world's most visited countries, thanks to cities like Rome, Venice, and Florence, and landmarks like the Colosseum and the Vatican. However, bureaucracy, slow judicial processes, political instability, and an aging population weigh on growth. Youth unemployment remains high, and many young Italians leave the country for better opportunities abroad. Still, Italy's cultural capital, innovative design, and resilient private sector keep it relevant and competitive. Culture, innovation and global image. Italy's cultural output is unmatched. From opera and classical music to cinema and cuisine, Italy has gifted the world timeless beauty and flavor. Italian fashion brands, like Gucci, Prada, and Armani, define global luxury. Italian cuisine, pizza, pasta, espresso, is a daily ritual around the globe. But Italy isn't just about tradition, it's also a hub for innovation. In fields like aerospace, robotics, and green technology, Italian engineers and scientists are making quiet but impressive strides. Globally, Italy is admired for its dolce vita lifestyle, artisanal craftsmanship, and timeless style. Yet it is also sometimes stereotyped as politically chaotic and economically stagnant. The reality, as always, is more complex, a country constantly negotiating its glorious past with a demanding future. What Italy teaches us about resilience. Italy is a land of contradictions, ancient and modern, wealthy and struggling, artistic and bureaucratic. But above all, it is resilient. It has weathered empires, invasions, fascism, economic upheaval, and global shifts, yet continues to influence the world through culture, industry, and innovation. Italy teaches us that a nation's strength doesn't lie only in numbers or power, but in its ability to adapt, create, and inspire. Whether it's building aqueducts in ancient Rome, painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, or exporting world-class espresso machines, Italy consistently reinvents itself. And that's what makes Italy not just a country, but a civilization in motion. Thanks for watching Ms. Shortcut. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more fast journeys through the world's most fascinating countries. Ciao for now. And if you thought Italy's story was fascinating, wait until you see what's next. In our next episode, we'll head to the land of windmills, water management, and world-class innovation, the Netherlands. From tulips and trade empires to high-tech agriculture and social experiments, this tiny country punches well above its weight. Stay tuned, Ms. Shortcut is just getting started. Ms. Shortcut, your shortcut to the smartest country stories.